Everybody, I am super excited to be with Missi Matthews today. We are here. This is From the Top, presented by Armina Stone, and I know you know Missi Matthews. She is a fabulous team reporter with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and you are all over the place, Missi.
Well, I am glad to be here at Armina Stone.
We are so excited to have you here, and I have so many questions to ask you, so I hope you have a lot of time.
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, well, I want to start from the way beginning, Missi, because I know you have such a great background in sports broadcasting, and you've been to a few different markets before you came back and started working with the Steelers. So tell me about your background and how you got involved with sports broadcasting.
Well, I didn't really know what I wanted to do exactly when I went to college. I went to the University of Pittsburgh, which I absolutely loved. I was on the dance team. I got to go to a ton of Big East tournaments at the Garden, which were some of the greatest memories I have from college with my friends. A lot of great, Big East football games that took place. And then I kind of started to realize that maybe the PR sports agent route wasn't for me. I tried, a few internships, and EJ Borghetti, who works for the University of Pittsburgh in the athletic department, said, "Why don't you try broadcasting?" and helped me connect with people at Channel 4. I started there. I worked at FSN, interned there. That's what AT&T Sports was called back in my day. And just kind of got my feet wet and really started to love it and realized this is something I could do and love at the same time. So that's kind of where it all started.
I love your background of dancing too, because I was a dancer and I follow you on Instagram and every social media platform. And I feel like I love those Pure Barre workouts because of dancing. And I know you're a big Pure Barre fanatic too.
Yes, I know. It's the beat. It is you just kind of go to the bar, there's a mirror, you can see your form, if you're doing things right, the instructors help correct you, and it's quick and easy, but you feel it, even though it might not be these crazy movements and heavy weightlifting, but it is something that, yes, my dance background, as soon as I tried it, I knew I would be hooked.
Me too. Well, you have a dancing background, but with your sports background, I know it's big in your family, and your dad was a Pitt football player. So growing up when you were a young kid, did his influence inspire you at all?
I don't know if it inspired me, but I think I was obviously around it a lot. My parents both went to Pitt. That's where they met. My dad's actually from Jersey. My mom's from Pittsburgh. But, all my aunts and uncles went to the Pitt games. My cousins, it was kind of a family tradition to go to Pitt and basketball games. So I definitely think I took a liking to it. It was definitely something that probably as a little girl, most little girls didn't want to watch football with their dad. I don't think my dad was going to turn me away. My younger brother also loves sports. He actually played soccer at Pitt. But I really fell in love with football, and it was just perfect timing. Once I was, I worked in Johnstown, I worked in Harrisburg for local TV stations like you were alluding to. And then when the Steelers job opened, I jumped at the chance because it just made too much sense.
Oh, it's amazing though, because you're everywhere. Tell me everything you do with the team, from sideline reporting to all of their online videos to pre-game, post-game. You're on KDKA, which I love watching you.
I know, with your dad.
I love it. He loves you, Missi.
Oh, well, I love all the pomps, but I do love working with your dad. He's great, and he's taught me a lot, and he's just one of the best guys in the business. I don't think anybody would disagree with that.
Well, he says that about you. I truly mean it. To find somebody, a female, which I love to see, who is so knowledgeable about sports and football. I mean, you just see it when you watch you. It's amazing.
Oh, well, I appreciate the kind words, and I always love the love from the Pomp family. That makes me feel great. So I work for the Steelers. I'm a team employee. I think sometimes people are very unsure, and that's okay. So I do all of their TV programming, Mike Tomlin's show. Your dad helps out with that as well. All of our live programming, Steelers Live happens every day during the week. We do a lot of big shows for training camp. virtual became a thing this year. You know, we did the fashion show virtually with your dad. There's
I loved
tons
it. I
of
still
different
watched
things. It was, I wasn't sure what to expect, but you know what? It turned out awesome.
It did. And a lot of people tuned in. I think, you know, anything with the Steelers, they're going to want to join.
Yes. So I'm excited that it is going to be in person this year. So that's about as much as I can probably say. But, you know, we have training camp coming up at the end of this month, which is crazy that it's July. So we're ramping up for that coverage of just what's happening with the team. You know, I get a chance to do one-on-one interviews, which is one of my favorite things to do. And even in the off season, you know, our grind never stops. There's always the combine, the draft, owners meetings. And then we get a chance to tell cool stories about players off the field, which obviously with the pandemic hasn't happened as much as we would have liked or as in depth, but hopefully, you know, as we're turning that corner, we will get back into that. But yes, I work with your dad and help with stuff on KDK as a broadcast partner, do sidelines for the preseason, which I know we all missed last year.
Oh, I know.
So with the preseason games this year, I'll be doing that again. And we help with pre and post game as well for the regular season. So, you know, CBS loves those games, which is good for KDK and the Pittsburgh market. And it's great for everybody.
Oh, I don't know how you do it all. This is really a job that it's like a 24-hour job to keep up with a lot. But you mentioned training camp, which it's hard to believe that it's coming, that it's here. What are your predictions going into this season, and what are you most excited about? I know it's going to be nice having fans and having a normal season back.
I know. It was so bizarre last year, you know, even when there was the very limited, I think like 5,000 plus people, it just was so dead. There was no energy, and you could feel that. I can't imagine what it was like trying to ramp yourself up as a player or coach to play in the game. You can say it shouldn't matter, but it was just a weird environment, especially, you know, how Heinz Field can be on game days. Just team intros, the Steelers ended up not doing them because it's like, what was the point?
Right.
But I think, you know, there's so many storylines heading into this season. I think a lot of people are doubting the Steelers, which I think is a good thing for this team. I think they like to have that chip on their shoulder where, you know, some national reporters are saying they're going to be the worst in the AFC North, that, you know, Ben still doesn't have it. And, you know, there's too much. They lost too many pieces on the defense with Bud Dupree and Mike Hilton. I do think it is going to be interesting to see what happens with the offensive line. You know, Marquise Pouncey retired, the release of Dave DeCastro. There's a lot of young guys who are going to potentially have very large roles. So I think the offensive line is the one for sure that I will be watching every day in training camp to kind of see what they do, how they move guys around. The secondary is another big one. But I'm excited. You know, training camp can be a grind, but I think that's when you really get to know the team. And
for you to really know the players, that's a great time.
Yeah, it was really weird last year not having the OTAs and minicamp, the off-season program, and then being so disconnected because of all the COVID protocols. I felt like the rookie class from last year, you know, Chase Claypool, I've never met him really in person. We've only talked over Zoom.
That's all you had.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to, hopefully, knock on wood, being able to do more things in person as things lighten up a little bit.
Oh, yeah, and I know fans just can't wait to pack that whole stadium. It's like you said, to have 5,000 when they seat. How many do they seat?
Over 65,000.
That's hardly anybody in there.
I know.
So that'll be beautiful. I can't wait for that. What are some of your favorite moments? I would say, you know, I want to ask you for the whole season, not only in, you know, training camp, but in the season, postseason. What are some of your favorite times to be working for the Steelers and to be covering them?
I think it's probably recent, so it's probably why it sticks out the most. But when Troy Polamalu found out that he made the Hall of Fame, we flew down to Miami. That was the site of the Super Bowl, and it was the night before, and that's when they put all of the potential guys who could be elected in this hotel, and they all go to their hotel rooms with their families, and you're waiting for David Baker, the president of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He's a very large man, to knock on your door. Or you get the phone call saying, sorry, it's not this year for you. And we were anxiously waiting in the hotel lobby with a camera. You know, there was other teams doing it, so it didn't feel as weird. But you were waiting for Troy to hopefully get that knock, to then let somebody know, and then to say, yeah, they can come up and interview us.
Right.
And thank gosh he did. It was, I just remember having the chills as we were riding up the elevator because it's like,
Oh my
wow,
gosh.
he literally just found this out. And he was with his boys who I hadn't seen in some time. They've gotten so much bigger now. I remember when they were little running around the Steelers locker room from home games. And he was just so grateful. And you could tell the emotions were kind of running through him. So that is definitely something I'll never forget.
For you to experience those moments too, I mean, I'm sure you can't even count because you've been with the team since 2012.
Yeah, I'm coming up on my 9th year.
Wow, almost 10 years.
Yeah,
so
this will be my 10th season. Yeah, I'm almost at my 9-year
gosh.
anniversary.
But I can't even imagine all of those moments that you'll never forget that you covered. Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, Missy, I look up to you because I am in a similar field, and I don't cover football, but I cover hockey. We do a lot with Pittsburgh Today Live, Armina Stone. So I feel like we have similar backgrounds, and to see a woman like you succeed in the sports world and in the football world, it's not as rare as it used to be. You see more females today, which I love, but it still is, and to have a role like you do at the Steelers, I mean, I know so many young females, especially in college, aspiring broadcasters, they look up to you.
Oh, well, that's very kind. I appreciate that. I do think that it is becoming more normalized, like you said. I am part of a group chat with the other team reporters across the NFL, and there is a lot of us. Yeah. And it's a great sounding
Same with
board.
Hockey. It's great to see.
I love, it's like a natural support system. We get a chance to see each other when you play in a different city or they come to Pittsburgh, and whether it's just grabbing dinner or saying hi during pregame, sharing different things. Even just like, what's happening at your team or, different questions that people may have. And we always try, most of us go to the combine every year. And that's kind of like, okay, we're going to have a team reporter dinner and it's a chance to just have fun. So it's nice. It's great to have that system. And like you said, for it to become more normalized and to realize that females know a thing or two about sports as well.
They do. I love to see it. Even in the Penguins front office, it's great to see all of the females in different roles, marketing, sales. Mm-hmm. It's just a nice thing to see.
I'm with you.
I love it. Well, besides football, you do so much. You have such a beautiful family.
Thank you.
You do. Your husband, your 2 young boys. How hard is it to balance, the work and home life? Because I know you work a lot, especially when you're in season.
Yeah, in season's definitely a challenge. Luckily, my parents are still in Pittsburgh, and they love being Nana and Opa, so they like to help out a lot as well. Yeah, Opa's what my dad goes by. It's German. So they're wonderful. And I think just kind of knowing how to tag team things. My husband has a very demanding job as well. And pre-pandemic, he traveled for, chunks at a time. So I would have to juggle. And I'm obviously traveling with the team wherever they're playing. So we've just kind of developed systems. And I think, Monday nights I host a radio show for DVE. So I know, okay, Mondays are going to be my grind day where I'm going to leave in the morning and no one's going to see me until they wake up the next day. And we just kind of do things like that. It's not always perfect. Sometimes you just have to grunt it out and bear it. And I think, my oldest appreciates and understands more now what I do. I think before he thought I played football. He wasn't necessarily sure. He would see me on TV or something. And
I bet they think it's so cool.
Be confused. But he's already asking, like, can I go to a game this year? Am I finally going to be allowed to go to a game this year? I'm like, yeah, buddy, we're going to make sure
this is the year.
We're going to make sure this year you can get to a game. So, it's very exciting, and to kind of share that, I think, with them as well, because probably not, a normal job compared to some other people. So they definitely like that as well.
Do you think, I know they're young, but do you think they have an interest in playing?
My oldest loves football, like to the point where he's kind of annoying to watch football with. He's very, very knowledgeable, and I can't even take credit because he doesn't watch football games with me because I'm not home.
Right.
I'm at the game. But anytime, if it's an earlier game or it's our bye week or whatever, he knows what neutral zone infractions are.
He knows it. Now, is your husband a big sports fan?
Yeah, my husband's really big. He likes hockey and football.
Okay.
So between, I think, my husband and my dad, my oldest has really picked up and started to really follow it and understand who players are. And he also started playing flag football through the Pittsburgh Football League, which they're awesome. And I would highly recommend to anybody with little kids, just the fundamentals of like, they'll do, hey, what do you do when you're on defense? You pull a flag. On offense, you score a touchdown. Just basics where, you know, they're 5 and 6 year olds that don't really grasp that yet.
Yeah.
So it's been cool to see him. He's very competitive and very much so into football.
And you said hockey too. They're playing deck hockey.
Yep. Deck hockey. Yes. My oldest does ice too. So it's been cool through the Penguins. Their deck hockey, like learn to play has been amazing, and even learn to skate, you know, just.
Yeah. That's what I need.
I'm the worst one in my family now on skates, you know, my 3-year-old's probably better than me now. So I'm like, I should probably take some lessons. I'm like, some too, somebody Missy. Help me stop.
That's the thing. How do you stop? But I look at their programs all the time too. And I'm like, they teach kids so young. It's like, it's amazing to watch them when they fall with all that gear and pads on. How do you get up so quick?
They teach them and they're fearless, you know.
They're fearless.
My fear is falling. So I'm very like rigid and holding on to the side, whereas they're like sliding and taking off. So it's good to learn young.
Well, you're a busy mom. You have a great career. You work so hard, Missy. What else are you involved with?
Well, Pure Barre, like you said, is literally a passion of mine. I do want to give them a shout out because
I love
it truly physical, mental health, which is something else I'm very passionate about. But I just feel like it's a little community. I go to the Pure Barre in Fox Chapel, and they're just amazing. You know, even through virtual, they've made it engaging and fun. And it's been so great to go back into the studio and to see the same people. I kind of joined this 6 a.m. club.
That's what I try to go to, the 6 a.m.s too. I love it.
It's just nice to be done. And I think it's a group of like-minded people who are like, get it done in the morning, you're done for the day, go on and do whatever you need to do. So it's kind of like a support system almost. So that's been great. And yeah, like I've said, mental health is definitely something that I have struggled with. I decided to kind of open up about my journey that I guess you could say I am still on. I think everybody who dealt with the pandemic probably felt their mental health depleted in some way or fashion. But yeah, I like to try to speak out about it and try to normalize it as much as possible, because I think, you know, me sharing my story, I learned about so many people, whether it was coworkers, close friends and family, people I didn't even know who are probably what you would consider big names in Pittsburgh, had reached out and said, hey, thanks, I'm dealing with X, Y, and Z too. And it makes you realize that we're all just sometimes keeping things in that are better to say and to name it and to, you know, try to get rid of it that way, and also just to normalize that it's okay sometimes.
I know. And that's so important, hearing it from you too, because you do have a platform and people know you in Pittsburgh. So that could help so many other people, you know, come out and say, okay, you know, I'm dealing with this too. You're dealing with it. It's a normal thing.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. I always joke, you know, I see a therapist once a week. Even if I feel like I'm having a great week, I just keep it on my calendar. She helped me through the pandemic and realizing that I was not going to be able to get better at like working from home, having children at home at the same time. Like that was something that really took me a while to work through. And I think it's just great to have a neutral third party to maybe, you know, bounce things off of, or ideas and whatnot. So I am definitely an advocate for having somebody like that.
I love it, Missy. Well, I do want to ask you, since, you know, I was just glancing down at our lovely table here.
I know, this is fancy.
Because you've had a recent experience at Armina Stone, and your family too. So tell me what you had done and what it was like for you guys working with Armina Stone.
Oh my God, I cannot say enough good things, and I am not being paid to say that, I promise you. I just, you know, we had a very tiny kitchen when we bought our house, never thought that we would stay there long. Here we are.
It's your forever
home. We're in. So we knocked down a wall. We just wanted to have a really nice open kitchen to entertain and to live in. And I knew that, you know, I wanted a nice countertop. And we looked at so many places, and thank God we found Armina Stone. And when we went there, we went to the one in Harmer. There was a woman named Melissa, which I'll never forget her name because that's actually my real name. But she was
Alyssa.
Melissa.
Oh, I thought you were going to, I was like, wait, your name is Alyssa?
No. No, But yeah, she was just wonderful. I was very indecisive, but like, and there's just so many, the showrooms are beautiful. You've seen them. Like, there's just so many options. And then you're thinking, okay, does this match the cabinets? What about the flooring? What color am I going to paint the wall? And she just totally like calmed it down, helped us figure it out. And I just, you know, anytime I take a picture of something nice and to put on Instagram or whatever, it's like literally over top of my counters because it's the nicest thing in my house.
I love it.
But I just love them, and we had a great experience. It was easily installed and perfect. My parents just redid their kitchen, and I was like, here, go. Don't even mess around. Don't go anywhere else. My husband's aunt and uncle, who are like my aunt and uncle, also are good friends with my parents. They went to Armina Stone.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, we've all had wonderful experiences and have really great kitchens now to thank.
I'm so glad, Missy. Well, we'll have to check it out. I'm sure it's beautiful.
Yeah.
That was the thing. It's they have so many different selections. I don't know how I would ever pick. Luckily, I'm not dealing with that right now.
Yeah, but you will. Don't you wait? Don't you wait?
Well, Missy, it's been such a pleasure having you here. I am so excited for the upcoming season just to watch you. That's all that matters.
Well, thank you. I'm excited as well, and I appreciate inviting me today. This was wonderful.
Yes, this was a blast. But before we go, we are going to do a little bit of singing.
Okay. Oh, boy.
It's easy.
Okay.
I have a bad voice. Trust me. I tell everybody I'm terrible. We're just going to sing the jingle.
Oh, yeah, Mikey and Big Bob.
Ooh.
Got it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. No, I got you. Okay.
Okay, so I'll count us down, Missy.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Ooh, Armina Stone. Missi Matthews, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you,
and good luck
Celina.
with the season.
Thank you.